Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Just as a friendly reminder to the audience, we put out a new show every single Monday, so make sure you give the notification bell a nice tap so you don't miss a show. Also, just as a friendly reminder, we are doing laughter therapy on the show. We've got a lot of military members who struggle with everyday life after service, so we're just having a laugh and remembering the good times.
Sorry, double takes over here being a dickhead making me laugh.
I haven't introduced you yet. You're not on the show, technically.
Fuck.
Hey, before we jump into today's show, I just want to take a quick second to tell the audience about our fundraiser.
Yeah, so you'll notice the show is ad-free, and that's by design. To keep the flow of the show going, and that way we can also keep outside influences out.
Absolutely. So if you like the ad-free experience up until this point, consider making a contribution to our fundraiser.
What are you going to do with their money, Aaron?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Cheeks, because one of the main ways that we like to collect funny stories for the show is through a give-back program to veterans where we host event nights, and everything's on us, right? So you got food, beverage, venue, travel. All that stuff is on us.
So what about a website? I've been getting a lot of mail from fans that want some Cheeks gear.
Absolutely. Well, that's one of our other short-term goals is we want to find fun and unique ways to interact with the audience. So a website, a merch store, all those things take resources. So those are definitely goals of this fundraiser as well. And we'll drop a link to the fundraiser in the description of the show. So just check that out if you want to make a contribution. But we thank you for your support and listenership. All right, let's jump back into the show. Joining me today is the man who chooses to hang out at the buffet during the orgy instead of joining in the fun. Call sign Double Take. Double Take, thanks for
the absolute best finger sandwiches.
some cucumber sandwiches.
Gross.
You can't just get a pimento sandwich anywhere.
A piment, like the little pit from an olive?
No, it's like in a cheese spread. They call it pimento.
You are not a cultured man, are you?
Look at me. Do I look cultured?
They put it on toast.
Do I look
beautiful.
cultured to you?
I don't think refrigerators travel.
Also joining me today is the man that taught me that pierced titties taste like house keys. Call sign Cheeks.
That's legitimate.
It is.
That is true.
It's a good note.
Did you say it tastes like house keys?
House keys.
I've heard pennies, but that's funny too. I like that.
Penis?
House keys.
No,
Pennies.
Not that.
Not penis.
Not
Titties
that.
don't taste like penis.
Pierced.
I
said pierced.
I do love
titties.
some pierced nipple rings. So here's the question. Do we like dangly ones?
I mean, dangly ones are they're more geared for knockers. I mean, because you call knockers, and then you have like the door knockers.
Well, I'm not talking about just hoops. I feel like the hoops would be like the door knocker because you got like the bars.
Like the studs?
You got the
the bars.
The bars would be the studs, and then you've got the
stud
hoops
to get to these bad boys.
which are like the fuck.
Why am I picturing these on you, Cheeks?
Because
like,
I'm pinching my nipples as I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's
How
what I'm
else
seeing
are
in
you
my
going to
head.
taste them?
And then like the dangly ones are like chandeliers, nipple
Okay.
chandeliers.
That sounds dangerous.
It sounds fancier.
If I'm going to spread your cheeks, you have to have nipple chandeliers.
Okay.
That's it. So spread cheeks, nipple chandeliers, and not hate.
That's fair.
It's my new mantra.
All right. All right. You guys ready for my first story?
Only if you're wearing a top hat.
And nothing else.
Fucking A. All right. I'll work on that. But in the meantime, check out this first story.
What you
All
got?
right. So you've got somewhat of an old school master sergeant in the Air Force, and he's just busy in his office working away. One of his E5s comes in and says, "Hey, do you mind if I do a chow run?" The master sergeant kind of looks at his watch, just like, well, we just had chow. Like, what's the situation? You can tell that he was kind of being a little evasive.
It wasn't for chow.
And he says, well, check this out. So the E5 says, Airman Snuffy ate my lunch. And the master sergeant just kind of
bobs his head up and down, makes eye contact, and says, well, did you kick his ass?
Right? Okay, so we need to come up with a story for the hospital visits.
Right. And the E5's like, he's a little bit of a shy guy. He's like, no, I didn't kick his ass. He's like, okay, well, with all due respect, like, this is an airman. He was like an E2 at the time.
Yeah.
You're an E5. This guy just ate your lunch. Like, so you're getting bullied at work by your underlings? Like, is that where we're really going here? He's just like, well, I think there was some confusion that was going on. It's not really a big deal. Okay, walk me through the confusion then, because I have to understand, like, what kind of a NCO you are.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that you're not getting bullied by your airmen. So
what an uncomfortable
How this
conversation.
10-year-old took your lunch.
right. So the E5 kind of goes through, says, well, hey, I had my girlfriend drop off my lunch and I set it on the counter. And then when I came back, it was eaten. So the E7's like, well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, so how did this guy get confused with your lunch that your girlfriend brought you into him? Like, with his own? Like, did he bring his own lunch that he set up on the counter
it had to
as
have had,
well?
like, the same thing.
What the fuck's going on? So a lot of stuff is not making sense at this point. So the E5's just being kind of evasive and just saying, you know what? It's not really a problem. It's not really a problem. E7 says, disagree. Why don't you go get this airman in here? Like, I want to have a conversation with him now, right?
Well, they both brought in Chick-fil-A, so it makes sense.
So the airman comes in the office. The master sergeant sits him down. Is like, all right, so what happened here? Now the airman is like, well, there was Chinese food and I had Chinese food last night for dinner. Say, okay, well, did you bring the Chinese food in with you?
Right.
And like, okay, now some things are starting to line up.
Right, you got leftovers.
The airman's like, no, I didn't bring it in.
Huh?
Exactly. He's like, okay, now it sounds like you're lying to me, right?
So hang on. So this this fucking airman said I had that last night.
Yes.
So I thought it was still yesterday?
Yes. So this is where it's like, okay, you're either stupid or liar, right? This is kind of going into one of two camps, and either one's a problem. Now the E7's like, I'm burning a lot of calories on this guy's fucking lunch, and it's like, okay, you know what? Don't eat people's lunch, but I'm going to need you to go clean all of the bathrooms. Like, we don't go around eating coworkers' lunches here.
Right.
Like, you need to pay a price. So this is how this airman learned a little bit of a lesson, but kind of a wild situation that the E5 wouldn't just
handle it
like at that
fucking
level.
Man.
Just kick his
Exactly.
fucking teeth in.
Yeah.
Listen
Dude,
here,
if you're
bitch.
taking my lunch, we're fighting.
Yes,
Or kiss.
that is
That's
definitely
it.
going to be a fight. If like this is like one of the things. It's kind of like pussy and food are both defended with violence.
Fact.
With a lot of these things. So it's
Don't
like,
touch it
I
while I'm
defend my
sleeping.
back
I
pussy
agree.
with violence.
Exactly. That's what I like to hear. Okay.
I'm gonna start bringing a sword into the studio to protect my back pussy from you two.
Good luck. I'm a swordsman. I get what I want.
So our next story is gonna have two characters. All right, we've already
right.
talked about Petroleum Jesus once.
Okay.
He's back.
We love Petroleum Jesus.
He's a bit of a character, right? He's fun to listen to when he's telling stories.
Fucking A.
So we have Petroleum Jesus, and then we have Sergeant Major High Speed.
Okay.
Okay.
What up, High Speed?
Everybody knows who Sergeant Major High Speed is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to explain
This is the archetype of the Sergeant Major.
Yes.
Where
you get this one section, this one job, and you're like, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to be about.
usually very uptight,
Very uptight.
Yeah.
Like, no sense of humor at all.
rules,
Right. Yes.
regs driven, everything.
Well, the other thing we need to touch on is what PT belts are.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody who served knows that the PT belt is just a reflective piece of basically like nylon that goes around your body. And you're supposed to wear it in low light conditions so you don't get run over.
Right.
Reasonable.
Right.
Sergeant majors take this to a whole new level.
Yes, they do.
Okay, and everybody who'd served knows that. And there's a joke about how you would wear your PT belt and it gives you a force field around
Yes.
your body, and you're
Nothing bad can
It's
happen.
kind of more
when
of
I
a safe
have
space.
exactly. Yeah, it's your PT belt safe space,
Mobile
right?
safe space.
Yeah. So if you don't have your reflective belt on, it's a no-go. Okay.
Now, curious minds want to know, because what happens when you're in low light in a combat zone? Does the PT belt save you?
Well, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. So at least on my deployments, we used to wear have the joke, and we'd say we were wearing it underneath our body armor so that we were safe.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's a million other infantry stories like this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've got Petroleum Jesus and Sergeant Major High Speed. All right. Sergeant Major High Speed was in charge of the chow hall.
Okay.
Okay. What a job, right? And this is technically a deployed location at this point.
Okay.
So Sergeant Major High Speed is at the chow hall that he's in charge of, and he sees a couple of guys that are at this table and they're eating, and he recognizes them from like their bi-weekly meetings and whatnot. And these guys are in the fuels section.
Okay.
So they're in charge of like making sure that the petroleum,
Right.
the oil.
I mean, this
and
guy
those
is
things,
Jesus of
he
the
is
petroleum.
right. He
so
turns
that only-
water into petroleum. We've discussed this, right? So he sees that these guys are at the table. He goes and starts giving one of the dudes what for. Starts harassing them like blah blah blah. You need to do this. Da 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 da. Right.
Right.
Here comes Petroleum Jesus in his civilian clothes, in his hoodie, right? And he's kind of got his hands in his hoodie. It's covering up where his PT belt is. It's kind of like underneath his hoodie, right? Around his waist. And he walks up and he's like, hey, Sergeant Major High Speed, quit fucking with my guys.
Yeah.
You know? And Sergeant Major High Speed's like, you don't have your PT belt. You're supposed to have your PT belt on. Where's the PT belt?
Oh, God.
Petroleum Jesus is like, hey, don't need to wear it if I'm in civilians. Like, well, you don't need to be in civilians. You're in a deployed location. The threat is real. What if the enemy comes marching down and all of a sudden he's like, whoa. Hey, if we get attacked, you guys are the infantry dudes. That's what you're here for.
You're here to protect us.
That's
Yeah.
your job, not mine.
And then you're like, where's your weapon? He's like, that's at a different base. We didn't bring those.
Right.
Just super like nonchalant, matter of fact. Well, Sergeant Major High Speed's like, yeah, well, you guys need to start getting in on this tower rotation. We shouldn't be the only ones doing this. He's like, I don't think so.
I don't know if we're going to be doing
I
that.
don't think we're going to be doing tower guard with you. So he starts getting all pissed off. Sergeant Major High Speed does. He's like, well, we need to go talk to the colonel then. You need to be contributing to this and contributing to that. And he's like, whoa. I would hear you a lot better if you were at the position of attention there, Sergeant Major.
Shit. So this obviously is when he was a warrant officer.
Yeah. So Petroleum Jesus got promoted, right? So this is later on in his career. He was a CW2, and he's like, we could go talk to the colonel, but I can't really hear you when you're not at the position of attention there, Sergeant Major.
That's amazing. I hear you a lot better.
Sergeant
Yeah.
Major wanted to play fuck games. So the warrant officer's like, we'll play fuck games.
Right. Like, when you've pissed off the most chill people in the military,
Which are the warrant officers
which are the
typically.
warrant officers,
Yeah.
like, come
It's
on.
not going to end
Like,
well.
all right, yeah.
But I just fucking love that because the sergeant majors always come out on top because they're walking around with their big swinging fucking rank and this and that.
Yeah, and for the most part, those sergeant majors are not used to being outranked by anybody.
Yes.
Like they'll kind of clock the officers and know who those people are, and okay, they can do their thing.
Yeah.
But everybody else is fair game, and they'll just be like white on rice on somebody that looks a little jacked up in their
Yeah.
civvies, and like, that's a new face. I'm going to go fuck him up.
Right.
What are the odds that he outranks me?
Right. Well, he did.
Well,
So I love that the CW2 Petroleum Jesus put him in his place. It's like, hey, don't fuck with my guy. So he took care of
Yeah.
his section, and I mean, from what we understand, is he was loved by all of his dudes because he'd be the guy go take the smoke so that his dudes could hang out.
that's awesome.
Yeah, good fucking guy.
Yeah.
Good leader.
Nice.
All right, so for the next story, we're looking at the Army in the 1980s.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
1980s,
So-
going back.
I'm sure Cheeks can attest to this, but a staple of a lot of Army training and physical fitness is doing good old ruck marches.
Yes.
Yes.
So this was a 12-mile ruck march in this specific
fuck.
case. But this gentleman, well, we'll call him Kevin.
What's up,
Kevin was one of those guys that, like, he was clever enough to cut corners and normally not get caught.
The old
one of
sham
those
shield.
guys.
The
Yeah.
old sham shields. But yeah, those guys are always a fucking problem because sooner or later they're going to get caught.
Those things are
And
a-
it's not just them that gets fucked up for it.
Yeah, those people are a liability because it puts you in an odd position because either you have to become a tattletale or you have to wait for them to get caught and then you fucking pay for all their bullshit. So
Yeah.
you're just
Exactly.
kind of like, which guy do you want to be?
You want to be a sham shield instead of snitching. That's what you want to be.
That's fair.
So the other guys in Kevin's platoon thought he was a fucking asshole because he had devised this way to kind of finish his 12-mile ruck way sooner than everybody else.
Oh,
And
God.
Sometimes.
Wait, so did this guy go out and like train harder than everybody else and like really get his cardio up?
He wanted you to think he did.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like our Kevin.
So one way that people will cheat on in ruck march is you're wearing your rucksack. It's a big bag. If your leadership's smart, they're gonna weigh it before the ruck starts.
Ours always waited at the end, and if it wasn't to wait, they made you do that bitch again.
Oh,
That's even worse. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That sounds way worse. That's clever though. So at least in this case, I don't know about their other marches, but at least in this one, Kevin's did not get weighed.
Okay.
So he had actually filled his with pillows. Yeah. So everybody else has probably got like
trick in the book.
Everybody else has got be a 35 to 55, 60 pound rucksack.
Right.
This dude's rocking with like 4 pounds.
Hell yeah.
But it wasn't just pillows in there. He also had a fucking skateboard.
What?
Get the fuck out of
So
here. What?
Like fucking Steve Rogers, Captain America, this motherfucker would just bolt right off of the start. And they had a pretty consistent route for their 12-mile.
Right.
And towards the beginning, there was this really big hill. So he would just take off and get ahead of the rest of the group and get over this hill.
Oh, so they couldn't see him.
Exactly. And then that motherfucker would pull out the skateboard and skate like, I don't know, it might have been half a mile downhill, maybe a mile. But this dude would end up finishing like 20, 25 minutes before everybody else.
Sick.
And was just dead set convinced on, oh, yeah, I just look like a stud. There's no problem. I'm not going to get caught. I don't know if he ever did.
That's a scammer that really doesn't plan ahead because, like, I can understand getting way out ahead.
But how do you
might want to hang.
that?
But the thing is, like, you're going to want to hang back and kind of blend in with a few of the people because, especially like when you take off like a bat out of hell, like people are looking like, oh, this guy's going to fucking flame out.
It highlights yourself too much.
Yeah, like
Too much attention.
If you got an instructor that's even a little bit keyed in, they're going to be like, all right, this guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Like, let's see him do this. Like when we have some instructors that are kind of like, you know, sprinkled around the course and stuff like that. Maybe a couple guys that are out front. So like, you got to really pace that shit if you're going to be a scammer like that.
I like to picture he had Heelys in his boots. And somebody wasn't looking.
I don't know if they had those in the 80s, but that's a strong.
Probably
thing.
not, but it's still funny.
I want a pair of
Yeah.
Heelys so bad. I've always wanted them, but I never got a pair. But I'm afraid now, like at my age, that I would just eat shit.
I was gonna say I tried my
Get you a
buddies
pair.
in middle school, and I don't know how they did it. I couldn't figure it out.
I love it.
All right, so check out this next story.
I'm checking.
We've got a group of Army infantry guys that are at a deployed location in Afghanistan, right? Now, it's important to understand what Ranger panties are. Ranger panties are basically like the Daisy Dukes of the military, right? Like
Hell yeah.
shorty shorts, OD green. A lot of guys get them because they're pretty comfortable to run in and things like that. Like that's what they use in Ranger.
Listen, we get them to show our junk off. Okay? I don't know what all this extra shit you're talking
Put
about.
all this shit on display, everything else like that. Okay, fair enough. Well, so you got a bunch of guys out at this fob, and they've got they're out on their like concrete bunkers. They've got sandbags around, and one of the guys is like, "Hey man, this is a pretty badass looking picture. When is it? Everybody like gather up. I'm going to take a nice group photo of this, right?" So everybody's shirtless. Everybody's got their Ranger panties on and stuff like that, and people are grouping together. And when they go to snap the picture, one of the dudes just drops his balls right out of one of the fucking one of the pant legs of these Ranger panties,
grandpa's it.
and just fucking does like a nice grandpa.
Yeah, you know where Grandpa's sitting back and his balls are hanging out of his shorts.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Grandpa, we can see your balls again.
was
I've
wrong?
never seen my grandpa's nutsack.
Oh, your grandpa was definitely at the orgies.
He was the one that brought the finger sandwiches.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, he photobombed this whole fucking group photo, so his nutsack is out. Everybody, it's a nice photo and everything like that, but you got to zoom in on him, and you can fucking see his balls dropped right out of his fucking pants.
Oh, that's hilarious. Because you know they didn't notice that shit. Like, if he was smart, he wouldn't have said anything about it. And then, like, weeks and weeks later.
People got it up on their
I was
mantle.
gonna say, I hope that shit was framed and on the wall in their squadron near like the awards case.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just go over with an expo marker and just circle the balls.
What the fuck? Jim's got his balls out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
fucking great.
That's so beautiful.
Sir, you got some bubble gum on your pants?
See, that's just good quality family military fun.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's classic right there.
Anytime there's like a good photo, you have to look for the dickhead who's got something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling his balls out, doing something, putting his dick on somebody's shoulder. Right. There's always that kind of stuff.
And that's mastery of the craft, is when you can do it to the point where if you know where to look, it's there, but it doesn't give it away.
Right.
And
so
it gets by.
Anybody that's still serving, if you ever utter the sentence, wow, that was a really nice group photo, go take a double check before you hang that bitch on your mantle at home.
Yeah.
Daddy, what's that?
If it looks too good, there's balls in it.
And then when you find the hidden wiener, just send it to us.
Nice.
Just the cheeks. He has a whole portfolio.
I do. That's just for me, though.
Well, we also get like the cosplay penises that are all fucking dressed up with the top hat.
Well, we'll add it to our album of, I forget what names we gave these two guys, but the dude who was going through the bad breakup. I think we called him Daddy. The two guys.
Oh,
the one guy that was going through the breakup.
photo shoot?
Yeah.
The fucking unicorn onesie?
Yes.
That was amazing.
We'll add it to that photo album.
Okay.
Swing by the studio and you can see all of our
Wieners?
photo album. Our dick pics and top hats.
And remember, consensual is sensual.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. We got a fundraiser going on right now, so if you like what we're doing here and want to keep us rolling, consider making a contribution. We'll put a link in the description. Also, we had some fun animations made up for this fundraiser, so we'll put links for those in the description as well if you want to just check those out. Also, don't forget to tell a friend about us if you love what we're doing here. Word-of-mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you for helping us out. If you've got any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. Also, we've got an email open. That's stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. We'll have a lot more fun announcements coming soon, so stay tuned. All right, I'm going to go microwave a croissant. Later.